Map 2, Bank. Ginny may have really wanted to see Map 3. I know Chalet was on her mind, but we've got Bank first. And if we go to Map 3, if Chalet is in the cards, Vivo Keystars, we're going to have to see a better Bank from them than we did see a Consulate in map number 1. Of course, they brought it to overtime. They showed us a good bit of that strength, but they were not able to pull it out. And Los proved that they are something to be reckoned with here. And Bank, well, could be a similar story. Vivo Keyed, they're going to start off with that Monty ban on the attacking side to remove that option for Los on the attack.
Yeah. Based on the play that we saw from map number 1 on Consulate, I'm a little curious if that's Vivo Keystars banning the Monty away from themselves so they don't get tempted to use it, because that did not impress anyone. I think as well, leaving the Jackal open with how much success they had on it on Consulate, probably going to leave them open to taking it here again on Bank, being able to facilitate the roam clear a lot quicker. Jackal's really kind of fallen away from teams in professional play just because he doesn't bring anything else other than the Inox sensor. You can bring some smoke grenades, but there's nothing else to use with it. It's just not the most ideal of picks. But I think with how successful it was, we might see it later on. We're not going to see it at least initially here in reveal phase. So we're seeing Hates on the Ash instead of the Jackal. Downstairs defense coming out for Los to start things off as well. Not very unexpected. And the real question is, how much CEO are we going to see today? As we've seen Tellers and Archives make a bit of a resurgence in Stage 2 and then fall off as we've made it to the playoffs and into the LCQs.
This map itself, I think, worth mentioning that it was in the middle to the upper of the pack in terms of how many times teams brought it out during the closed league portion of the Brazil Stage 2. We saw this 6 times. And as far as attacking and defensive split has gone, exactly 50-50. 28 rounds to 28 rounds. So we can talk as much as you want to mention about, is this map attacker sided? Is it going to be defender sided? We know, at least in this region, this stage, it has been completely even keel. So both of these teams will have a good bit to prove on both sides of the coin here as we start things out with Vivo Keystars. They will be on the attack and Los on the defense. As we can expect, we're going to see a lot of this roaming, a lot of this defensive pressure on this top floor, even though we are on that basement site down in lockers and CCTV. It does mean that Vivo Keyed have a decision to make. Do they want to clear out this entire map and really force these roamers to drop down or take care of them before they can? Or are we going to see something a bit more aggressive and a bit more direct? Just by the fact that we're seeing these drones in up above, though, I think we've got our answer.
I think Loban's going to bail out of here after killing about a minute on the clock. And honestly, just looking at the operator lineup coming out from Los, it seems like, wow, Maya's going to recastle the open area door, and Hates is going to catch Dash topside. There goes the Goyo that was lingering in E3, and will not be long for this world. But I was going to say, with the operator lineup, with the Goyo canisters, with the smoke, in tandem with the Solus, seems like it's just a preventative measure. In case Loban dies out on the roam, you at least still have a lot of area denial, a lot of time denial, and make sure that the plant can't come down without you knowing it immediately. It will have to come down in those last 10 to 20 seconds, regardless, just because of the amount of utility that's on the bomb site. House Barricade is keeping everyone planted for now, and Hates will have to dispatch of it, but there goes the impact in turn. Maya swinging out in towards E2, but not catching anyone. He's going to drop out the hatch. Go for Los, they lose Dash topside, but everyone else peels back to the bomb site. They'll try and hold out from downstairs in a 4v5, a little over 70 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, they'll see what they can do with 4 bodies remaining. This isn't going to be too hard. I mean, you do have a chance to, well, I would say anchor down, sit back, and hold these angles, but as Loban exposes himself to the main stairs, Keed will take advantage and swing this even further in their favor. Hates will take a bit of damage here as well. But as they try to open these hatches and get ready for this execute, it is Los on the back foot without question. Cameraman, a sliver of HP remaining now. A nade rolling into lockers will not catch him out just yet. But Dots with 2 smokes, breaking these Vulcan canisters, just hoping that this utility is enough to slow this attack down. It's not looking great, however. As with 25 seconds, Keyed are looking to make this drop. The final bit of the delay. The utility comes out. Maya will shut down one, but through the smoke, here comes Daffodil. Looking to get this diffuser down. Dots has the pings. The shots cannot land. The C4 does, however. Gomez dropped down. Lenda, now the last player standing. Los, what a comeback. Shutting down the execute and taking round number 1.
Man, there was still a Goyo canister up on the wall there. All that utility in the bomb site, just a maze and a labyrinth to work through for Vivo Keystars. A 2-man advantage and cameraman on literally 1 HP remaining. Not enough. It's not enough of an advantage when you can't get into the bomb site, having to deal with the smoke canisters and the Goyo canisters, just so much area denial and intel as well in the bomb site to be able to know where the plant was going down. It was a bit of a mess in terms of the shotgun trying to connect onto the planter through the smoke. But the Nitro Cell did the job for him, and then the shotgun followed up. So again, good teamwork, and like you said, a 3v5 in which Cameraman was basically 1 foot in the grave. Very impressive there for Los to win out on their defense downstairs. And now they'll head to open area and kitchen to try and string some success in a row, much like we saw on the console with a number of successive rounds that we saw back to back to back for teams on Consulate, both teams, but Los really liking going on a run and garnering some momentum early on in the games.
It seems like that's the Los style. Early momentum, early success. Saw it on Consulate, now we're seeing it here on Bank. A good start, at least in terms of the overall result. Maybe not in the way that round necessarily transpired, as Keed were really having their way of it until the very end. I love that Los stayed patient, they stayed disciplined, and maybe they were chaotic and maybe the comms were a mess, but it didn't look like it. It looked like they said, we've got the utility we need, we've got some smokes, we've got this fire from the Vulcan canisters, why not use it? We're gonna have to, we're down the man count in the 3v5, we're gonna have to use it. And that they did. Dash, though, it's not utility he wants this time. It is aggressive. It's gunfights. He'll take a couple, lose it in the end. But here on the site, it is, well, Vivo Keed rolling into mixed results. Daffodil will take care of another, but a nice impact from Cameraman will down the last. A 1v1 here for Loban as Daffodil is finished off. Hates downed. Loban turned his back. Watch it. Gomez from behind. A quick round 2. Keed tie us up.
What a round. Back and forth we go. And I just want to give Vivo Keedstars the credit they deserve. They got 6 kills on the round. There was a TK. And then they killed all 5 defenders of Los as well to win the round. Quite a fascinating scenario that arose in the last little bit there is it was a 1v3 technically brought down to a 1v1 really with Yamaru being down behind the printer reinforcement and then the last remaining attacker, the Ram, outside the building after everyone tried to rush their way into the bomb site for Vivo Keedstars. Good response back and forth. It was just a 1v1 that went the side of the R4C, which is a sentence we've all said many a time in our lives, and that will dissuade Los from trying to run back staff in open area, and instead they will be heading topside to CEO, try and get back on track here after quite the chaotic and somewhat confusing round.
I mean, talk about chaotic. I mean, dude, we just got out of the previous round and all of a sudden there were 50 gunfights unfolding in the middle of the objective. What was that? I mean, that is, I suppose, that Brazil style of Siege at its finest, that aggressive, in-your-face play. But it still surprises you. It still catches you off guard, especially from a team that shows it so infrequently. When they bring it out like that, I mean, it just catches you off guard. It really does. It clearly caught Los off guard a bit. They were able to put up some fight, just not as much of a fight as they were hoping. So it's the top floor. Like you said, Flynn, where we will see next as Los try to lock this down and prevent any sort of early execute from Vivo Keed. Thankfully, there is no easy way to just jump in and walk into the site. It's not on the ground floor. You do have to rappel up, break a window, send some utility in before eventually hopping through. You've got someone like Loban that is looking to stop even that.
It's quite the awkward engagement, trying to go prone with an SMG-12 and hit a headshot. especially onto a 3-armor, you're going to want a headshot. But Gridlock of Hornetau able to persevere. Loban?
What?
You know there's a frag grenade beside you, right?
He didn't move.
It just kind of sat there and accepted his fate. So, the Repels are working out very well for Vivo Keydstars in the beginning of this round, and I think the confusion from round 2 is bleeding over here into round number 3 as the E3 walls have been opened up as well from Daffodil, so a lot of purview down the long hallway. Dash trying to contend with this, but already off the Repel is the ace of Daffodil, and he's going to peel back towards the roof and try and join up with the rest of the team, as realistically in a 5v3, just play this with trades towards the bomb site. You're still in a good position to win, but as I say that, Cameraman will aggress towards the Repels. Dash will get traded out, though, and Dots, turning away the most inopportune moment, will take his attention towards Marble Stairs. Miss an entire magazine, but he's the last one standing. In response, it's a nasty shot onto Hates. He's the only one remaining for his team in a 1v3 now. He's still got to contend with the member on Marble Stairs, and Daffodil will shut him down. Dots, a whiff, and then a nice shot, and then a whiff, and it's Vivo Keydstars with 2 rounds in a row.
Yeah, Daffodil did a nice job there of kind of forcing the issue. You saw the swing, and the Wamai clearly prepared for the head glitch angle, right? Just the head peeking up from that stair landing. Instead, Daffodil was up in the face, so that crosshair was on the toes of the ace instead, and so a kill that Daffodil was easily able to find. But that one, Flynn, I mean, we talked about the chaos of the previous round and how much Keyd were forcing the issue and getting up in Los's face. That one, it honestly felt similar but different. Rather than Keyd being the ones to say, we want to take these fights early and we're going to just jump on in, Los kind of took those fights. They were the ones, like we saw underneath the CEO Repel. Like what was that? Like, you're trying to take those fights. Loban was trying to get involved. That's just one example. And Keyd took advantage of those openings rather than trying to make those openings themselves, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I think there's been some interesting circumstances and some interesting engagements to start things off on Bank, and I think for Los, just trying to return to a little bit of a slower tempo, a little bit of normalcy here. They will still be roaming here on their basement defense, but they were able to prove last time that even if they sustain casualties on the roam, or even then in the fallback towards the bomb site, they can win out with just so much utility onto the bomb site. And once again, the attacking side in terms of utility being brought out for Vivo Keydstars, not quite bringing enough utility specifically designed to deal with those Goyo canisters specifically, although you can just continue taking the Goyo off the board as the first pick, as Dash has yet to show up in the game, and there goes Loban trying to hang in and fight on Marble Stairs as well. The 2 corpses for Los will rest on Marble Stairs, and unfortunately for them, they find themselves in the exact same situation they were last time around on this bomb site, which is a 3v5. Difference seemingly is that Maya's going to reinforce himself into open area and try and play his life, and he'll do so at least for one pick. He'll grab Lenda.
Feels like Los are trying to play the same consulate style of defense, sit around every corner, play the close quarters map that it is, and try to exploit a disjointed attack. But we're seeing a very different Keyd, and this is a very different map. You cannot afford to play that same defensive style, at least quite the same way, on Bank like you would on Consulate. And Keyd, they're also not quite as sporadic with how they're moving in. They're playing a lot more unified, and it's been getting them a lot of these early kills, and it's working out for them well. Of course, Los were able to work at least 1 kill back in this round thanks to Maya, but it is still a 4v3 advantage. It is still Keyd with the momentum here in round number 4 as they begin to take what map control they have and turn their attention to the site below.
EMP's coming out to disable the electrical on the server hatch, so again, we're pushing our way towards server, trying to get a walk into CCTV to the server door with about 50 seconds on the clock, and that's a very problematic situation to be in for how long those Goyo canisters will remain burning on the floor of the bomb site, and the toxic canisters as well. Dotsel has 3 with 40 seconds left in the round. It's a good spot to be in. You still have the Nitro for Cameraman as well. He's turning his attention towards main stairs for the moment, but in the nick of time can turn around and get a C4 anywhere inside of CCTV. Once again, for this Vivo Keydstars attack, a good setup, a good first 2 minutes, where this execute onto the bomb site is going to be hectic. Going to require avoiding a lot of the utility that is pre-placed and maneuverable here for Los on the defense. It's going to be a bit of a nightmare. Here comes Daffodil rushing in. He's going to try and go for the plant on top of the desk, but he's being choked out by the smoke on about 25 HP. Now up against the wall, Maya will drop Gomez, and there goes the Nitro cell. The plant's still going down from Daffodil, though, and the Russian for Hornatow. He's all alone now on the Finka. The 1v2, the OV2. Dots once again point blank with an M590, and it's yet again another 3v5 on the basement for Los.
Oh my goodness. I mean, the Los Lockers defense, it's just different. It's just simply better. And Keed found themselves making the same mistake again. Utility was the problem. That late push was the problem. And the fact that Los had so much of that plant denial ability remaining in those last 15 seconds was the problem. It's a simple adjustment that Keys have to make here. You need to pressure the site just a bit earlier, tease the execute just a bit earlier to force Los to waste that utility. Force them to pop the Vulcan canisters. Force them to send that smoke out earlier than they'd like. If you can accomplish that, then when 20 seconds rolls around, all of a sudden, it is so much easier. You've got so much less on your plate. You don't have to worry about the fire. You don't have to worry about the smokes or a C4 coming out of nowhere and surprising you. But because Keed Stars waited until the last possible moment to go for the execute, and they hadn't teased it or baited that out enough before then, the exact same problem as round number one, it bit them in the back, and Los will tie us up because of it. Let's be very clear, it is a masterclass of a basement defense for Los, but given the advantages that Vivo Keed have had going into the execute in both round one and round four, you gotta put a little blame on them as well.
Well, I said the Teller's Archives had made a bit of a resurgence in Stage 2 and then fallen off in the playoffs in the LCQs. Well, it's come back. We're going to get all 4 bomb sites here for Los, which is fair, like you said, considering their performance off of the basement defense. Anywhere else has been a loss. They've won twice downstairs. And now, right now, for Vivo Keed Stars looking to continue that run of success off of attacking towards CCTV and lockers. Dash, like I said last round, yet to get himself on the board, has been opening death on that Goyo topside on both of those basement defenses. So, been a rough run of form for him for the last 4 rounds. And he'll look to change things up here, trying to get aggressive on the Oryx towards the CEO windows. Loban looking skyward as well from the stock windows. And you can see Vivo Keed Stars luckily not in a position to engage with any of those gunfights. Instead, it would be Cameraman inside of the main floor elevator with a deployable shield at his disposal. Loban will get droned out, and right behind it is Lenda and the Yana. So the entries coming in for Vivo Keed Stars, able to weather the storm of the aggression, but mis-droning Dash. He'll get one to jump into the game, and another one with the Bailiff. The impacts for support coming out onto the CEO walls, but they won't be necessary. And I'm not quite sure, but I think, yeah, Dash did go for the vault out the CEO windows. He's going to make it into the dirt tunnel to safety. I spoke too soon. Hates, we'll cut him off, but it's still a 4v3 advantage for Los.
Okay. Interesting. You got the 2
yet?
kills up top. You did the job. You're good. You're alive. Jumps out the window, dies. Probably tried to find somebody on the rappel. Hoped that maybe there was somebody else to jump on and basically guarantee the round for you. Guarantee the round for Los, but instead that advantage, while not given up just yet, is of course lessened. Hates feeling a bit of pressure here though from Cafeteria. Waiting for a bit of support as well. When he gets it, he takes advantage. Maya and Loban both gone. Dots and Cameraman, now they're the only 2 remaining, and this is after Dash found 2 openers, established the momentum for Los, and now it has all come crumbling to pieces. It's 3 for Hates. Dots alone. Lenda shuts it down. Ends round number 5 with a bang. What a roller coaster from start to finish.
Man, the other 2 defenses that were not in the basement for Los were just kind of trade fests, fireworks shows that were very, I don't know, they just did not look like they were ever firmly in the control of Los. That was the first round that wasn't, actually, that was the first round on defense for the entirety of the bank. That looked like it was firmly in the control of Los, like you said, with the 5v3 advantage, Dash showing up inside of CEO, and then it all fell apart. And you really got to give it to Lenda and I think it was Hates and Lenda pushing in towards open area and staff room, being able to collect onto those 2 picks, trying to dislodge anyone playing on the far side with those rotates opened up in towards Tellers and Archives. So good response there. There was a 3v4 to work out of after the collection of Dash trying to rush towards the dirt tunnel. Good response round for Vivo Keydstars, and they continue their run of success off of attacking the basement. As long as they're attacking a bomb site that doesn't have a CCTV or a lockers in it, they're in a good spot. So we're going to round out the first half here for Los in open area, in kitchen. Going to lock things down and at least tie us up. Like you said, the successive win rate so far in Brazil in Stage 2 is exactly 50-50 on bank in terms of who has the advantage. There isn't. Los will try to replicate that storyline here at the end of the first half.
Man, this has been a crazy back and forth, not only between rounds, but within them. I mean, just when you think one team has basically done enough to almost guarantee them the round, it all gets spun on its head and completely changes. We saw that in round 1, we saw that in round 4, and round 5. Probably missing 1 or 2 in there as well. Could have been every single round for all I know. It's been chaos, that's the point. And right now, we've seen both teams have their moments where they've thrived in that chaos and where maybe they've slipped up or just fell short. We'll see how Los are able to make something happen here. Again, it's a calm start, at least through the first 60 seconds. Los are going for a bit of a roam, a bit of early pressure here. You see Loban trying to find the scoreboard a bit more. Dash, who was so successful in the early round in round number 5, however, will not find the same success in round number 6. The Oryx, the first to fall.
Loban prepping a Nitro Cell, and just in case anyone strays towards the CEO floor, trying to dislodge him from his power position over inside of Archives. But Hates opting to just take the heads-up gunfight instead through the doorway and the window, and not going to spot Loban. Thankfully for the Capcan, he will be able to maneuver his way back into the depths of Archives with his C4 well intact and not have to worry for now. And this amount of top floor control coming out from Vivo Keydstars. A little over a minute remaining on the clock, but so much soft destruction at their disposal and so much time with so much ability to make sure that there's no one playing safe on the bomb site. Other than very obvious power positions basically directly under Daffodil right now. It's the last place you can really stand on this bomb site with any kind of comfort, because there's no soft destruction directly above. Everywhere else, though, will get opened up here. You can see even more breach charges coming out. 8's going for the rotate to the printer window. This is going to be one massive tsunami of attackers trying to rush their way into the bomb site. And it really seems like it's just going to be Maya to try and hold things out. As there goes Dots, there goes Loban. It's just Maya's TMR sat on the hatch and he'll fall out. So now it's just Cameraman trying to weather the storm as everyone will approach onto the bomb site and make it a flawless round for Vivo Keydstars. So as long as they weren't attacking the basement, they come away victorious.
Yeah, well done there. They made it work on every single site except for lockers and CCTV. And, well, Los, well, the opposite can be said for them. They managed to figure out the perfect recipe for success on that basement site, but could not find a way to weather the storm elsewhere. As a result, it's a 4-2 half for Keyd, and a very good place to be, considering, as we've said, this map generally being that 50-50 split. Keyd are set up well for their second half, on the defensive half, on their own map pick here. They're clearly getting a bit more comfortable. They're clearly starting to heat up, and they just need to ride that wave to a map win if they can. Again, it is their backs who are against the wall right now. They need to win bank if they want to survive and send us to map 3 of Chalet.
That's the thing. Los getting the first map pick out of the way, taking Consulate and winning at 8-6, and seeing Los with some good recovery rounds in the basement. And outside of that, maybe a couple rounds that were close, but Vivo Keydstars able to edge away from Los. So 4-2 half now with Vivo heading towards the defense. We'll see what the terms and conditions are on success on this map for both of these teams, as it really was the basement or die for Los. We'll see if Vivo, as they start out on CEO defense, and extend their lead to a 5-2 advantage and also show that they can win on another bomb site. Gomez starting out topside inside of E3 with a TCSG, trying to take aim towards any of the windows as well. Saw this coming out from Los with very little success. A lot of aggression towards these window repels, a lot of trying to quell any kind of entry from getting in towards the building, and yet they just started dropping bodies for it. It seems like this time around for Vivo Keydstars, they're playing it a little bit safer. They'll take the engagement when it presents itself. Other than that, not trying to put their face in a window or lay prone on top of a frag grenade anytime soon.
Good drone here from Dash in the middle of the site. Have some information about what's there and, well, in this case, what's not there. Turns out, as he tried to step up, though, Hates was ready anyway. Early pick here for Vivo Key. Tough luck for Dash, who has been on the receiving end of so many of these opening engagements so far on this map alone. 2 and 7. Not the player you want to die first. You've lost your Hibana. You still have the ace. You still have some of that hard breach to rely on. But it is going to be a bit harder to get this execute done, at least from both sides. You now may have to rely on a bit more of that window pressure that Dots is trying to maintain as the OSA. At the same time, this pressure starting to build up in the hallway. Lenda, though, holding his own. Worried about Stock, worried about Tot Square, handling them both to perfection. 4v2. His cameraman will find one back, but a minute to work with here for Los. This is not looking too good.
No, Gomez able to drop cameraman, the repel in from Dots out of nearly desperation. He will get one just to kind of pad the stats slightly with that 5.56, but Daffodil will end the round, and an exclamation point being shown here for Vivo Keydstars, demonstrating that they can win on a bomb site that isn't in the basement. We'll see if they go there now after being successful, and they currently have it selected if my Portuguese isn't below failing grade. And I think right now for Los, it's a very tough situation to be in. Having some success downstairs on the defense, but not really look like you're able to hang in terms of these gunfights and the chaos that Vivo Keydstars were bringing out and employing for the rest of the first half. Now Vivo Keydstars seem to just be dominating the kill feed, and honestly, that collapsing towards the hallway just outside of Stock is a perfect example of where a team just does not seem to be on the same page together. The collapse from outside of the janitor hallway and the Stock vault should be done in tandem, but that quick peek from Lenda was enough to dissuade the person top square from pushing all the way in and joining in the fight. And it left the attacker inside of Stock all alone, so it effectively gave him 2 1v1s. Lenda will take that all day and all night, and now 2 rounds away from sending us to Chalet.
Key looking like they want to put this one away now. Tired of this back and forth that we've already talked so much about. Down below, Blockers and CCTV for their second defense here in round number 8. And like we saw from Los on their defensive half, we're likely to see a good bit of this presence on these top 2 floors. Now, we don't see quite the same operator selection, however. We do see a group of operators a bit more attuned to only extending up one floor instead of all the way roaming in CEO or in executive or top square. We see a lineup more geared for that turtle hold. Maybe we'll see somebody in open area. Maybe we'll see somebody on those marble stairs. But as soon as that pressure comes in, likely to see Vivo Keyed back off. And this has been a good read from them, because Los are looking to do the same thing. It's not the full clear. It is a direct approach that they're going to try to get done. Cameraman sneaking around the back. He'll catch Hornetow unaware. And back into a 4v4 we go.
Yeah, Loban tried to sneak his way. I think we've talked enough about Dash. Loban as well at 1 and 8. Tried to sneak his way on Knock into the garage, and unsuccessful in doing so. Like I said, cameraman able to sneakily as well make his way into server, grab the pick on the blue stairs onto Hornetow. Smoke is still standing. Typically you'd see a Smoke playing those server stairs, but instead it's Daffodil on the Smoke playing more towards the bomb site inside of lockers right now. Instead, it was the Warden of Hornetow playing on the blue stairs, so not the biggest casualty to have surrendered. Gomez the only nitro cell remaining on the side of Vivo Keydstars in the defense, but you can see these Goyo canisters. They're going to be annoying. The only difference between that and the rounds that Los were playing this objective on the defense is that Cameraman on the attack has brought out a Twitch, and they do have some range soft destruction, although they've already used Zofia Lifeline, which trying to get rid of those canisters as early as possible so the fire isn't as devastating when you go in for the collapse onto the bomb site. Dot's now getting the plant down, and the smokes are not in the correct position. Although, as I say that, Dots was just trying to tank it, and he will drop nearly inches away from getting the diffuser down, and like I said, here comes the pouring of the smoke, here comes the fire. There's no chance now as Dash is in the midst of the bomb site, hasn't picked up the diffuser as of yet, and gets swung into the hallway. Maya drops in, drops Gomez, but still in a 1v3 to work out of, and standing in front of a mirror window. He's not long for this world, and suddenly Vivo Keydstars putting us on map point.
It's the same problem for Los, the same problem that Vivo Keyd had to deal with on their attacks. That is a very tough approach to make, even when you make it as early as Los tried to, right? There was still so much utility to try to deny, and with the angles that Vivo Keyd had already set up, they were so ready for that execute, shutting it down one player at a time. That'll prompt the tack timeout for Los as they now stare against a map point and a 4-round deficit that they would have to work their way back through if they just want to send this one to OT. It does really feel like map 3 is coming up, but Los trying to delay that reality as long as they possibly can. If they want to do it, though, we're going to have to see a bit better than that in terms of their attacking prowess. And if something isn't working, like they probably should have picked up on about midway through that round, need to see them make some sort of active adaptations. Maybe work your way around, try to approach from the other side, try to get something else working for you instead of just kind of going straight for one bomb site, overly tunnel visioned and getting yourself in trouble like that.
It is a dangerous strategy to bring out with, the consequence of not being successful on it being that you're now going to have match point against you and need to win 4 consecutive rounds to send it just to overtime, let alone winning the map as a whole and finishing off this series in a 2-0. Just trying, like you said, get direct to the bomb site as sneakily and quickly as possible and try and suffocate the defense and utilize that utility as much as possible. Make sure that those go-out canisters and the smoke grenades get popped or used as quickly as possible into the round so you have more time to work with into the execute. They went 1 for 1 on their approach in towards the rush to go direct towards the bomb site, and unfortunately just still so much utility to work with there. Oil canisters strewn across CCTV, and the mirror window still in play as well inside of lockers. That really never got addressed. It was a very tough situation to be in for Los's attack, much like they were putting Vivo Keydstars in on the attacks in the first half of this map. So Dots with the diffuser on the Ram. You've got the Amaru coming out from Maya as well, a Dokkaebi from Cameraman. So it looks like Los, having not been successful on trying to quicken up the tempo last round, are going to try and run it back a little faster of a tempo here as well, and either we're quickly going to Chalet or maybe Los is starting to come back.
Maya readying. Gara hook in hand, looking to spring in and get something done. Hornets out. Staying prone here and might be kept protected by this castle barricade, but here comes Maya anyway. Up through the window, working his way around towards the balcony, denied from behind. No support at all. Dots was too late. That was the problem. Now he's there in time to find the trade at least and get the equalizing blow, but what could have been a very explosive start, a successful start for Los, initially slowed down. Another trade. Dots takes care of Lenda, but then gets taken care of right back. A 3v3 as Los again try to make something happen early with a mixed success. Hates though. The next player tucked away, isolated for Vivo Keyd, alone and vulnerable.
Well, if Los have a chance, they're going to need the 2 attackers remaining with a combined KD of 3 and 16 to show up. As Loban's taking damage, there goes Cameraman, so it's just those 2 remaining. Hates on a rampage. There goes Dash, now able to drop it from a 1v3 to a 1v2, but not before Hates with a UMP topside. Mercilessly wrecked through the last remaining attackers besides himself. The Dash turning his attention back towards the bomb site. I have to get all 3 remaining defenders, the 2 remaining still standing in a 1v3, be able to prolong us here on Bank, or we are going to Chalet after a very close and back and forth matchup on Consulate. This has been a pretty one-sided Bank so far. Dash able, I believe, to hack out that camera. But nonetheless, it gets shot out anyway. So Dash dropping down the stairs with Diffuser and slowly pushes his way in and isolates some 1v1s in this engagement. Refire will not dislodge Gomez from his position on top of the desk inside of open area. And there it is. Vivo Keydstars win their own map pick 7-2. So we will need Chalet to decide this.
Consulate was close. We saw overtime there. The same cannot be said for Bank. 7-2. Vivo Key leaving no doubt there, even with the timeout and even with a couple of moments where we thought Los might be able to bring it back. They just could not claw back the insane lead that Vivo Key had